All right. As I mentioned, you are joining the virtual dairy farm tour today with Homestead Dairy up in Plymouth, Indiana. My name is Brooke Williams. I'm the Director of Communications for the American Dairy Association Indiana. And the cool thing about a virtual farm tour is that I'm in our office here in Indianapolis while Farmer Jill is up on her farm in Plymouth, Indiana at Homestead Dairy. Jill is one of the over 800 dairy farms, families that we have here in Indiana. If you didn't know that, we have that many. Anyway, ask as many questions if you want, and if you ever need more resources, you can always visit our website, winnersdrinkmilk.com. And without further ado, we're going to let Farmer Jill Huyen introduce us to those beautiful cows behind her.
Hi, welcome to Homestead Dairy. I'm Jill Huyen, originally from New Jersey and had never been on a farm until I met my husband. But I was lucky enough to marry into one of the 97% family farms in the nation. So I'm very excited to share with you what we have here today. So I'll tell you the history of the farm. In 1945, we had 9 cows, some chickens, some pigs, and 12 children in a little house on another site that we milk still. And then in 1979, we had 110 cows, and my father-in-law and uncle-in-law bought the farm from their parents. And in 2004, I married in, and we were milking about 1,100 cows. And now in 2019, we're milking about 4,900 cows on 3 different sites with 14 family members. So that's pretty exciting. Every family member is responsible for a different department. So we're always having that family touch, and we're just one big happy family with some cows. So you're at the robotic dairy. The robotic dairy is where cows can get milk whenever they want to. They can go up, they can get milk. The average milking takes about 6.5 minutes, and they're milking about 3 times a day approximately. Some come in 4 or 5 times a day, some come in 2 times a day. We actually have an app on our phones that monitors that, and then if they haven't been milked twice, our workers will walk through the pens, and the cows are so used to not really seeing humans. When they see them, they're like, oh, fine, I'll go get milked, and they go and walk up and get milked. That's how relaxed this environment is for the cows. They have we built this barn for cow comfort, so we have memory foam mattresses, they have back scratchers, which you'll see in a little bit. We have a maid, which is an alley scraper that scrapes all the manure back and forth on a pulley system. With that technology, that's pretty cool. We also did some research with different schools. So we wanted to see, half the barn has these neck rails, which allows for the cows to reach out and get their feed. And on the other side of the barn, half of the barn has the neck rails, half of the barn has headlocks. And we don't use those headlocks, but we wanted to see what was best for the cow. Where would they consume more feed? And what we found is that the headlocks actually we're better on the consumption of the feed for the cows. So we're starting to put these red spacers in. And it's simply because the cows get their personal space, they can lift their head up, and it gives them the opportunity to consume more, which makes us happy, because when they're eating more, they're producing more milk, and they're healthier animals. So that's what we're doing here. But what we're going to do is we're going to walk down and see the robots from the outside. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to kind of talk about how we use the manure for electricity. We have a digester, and a digester takes the manure, spins out the methane, takes that methane, captures it, and then reuses it for electricity. We work with different companies with their food waste. We have a canning company that has rotten vegetables. It's really weird when you see little floating vegetables in the manure pit, but that's another story for another time. The other thing that we do is we work with Notre Dame, and Notre Dame's food waste is ground, and they transport it to us, and then we make even more electricity. We make enough electricity for 1,000 houses an hour in Plymouth, and that gives us the opportunity to create green energy using the manure from the cows. And ultimately, we're permitted for one more digester, so we intend to build a digester on this site, and this site will then create electricity and then milk the cows using that electricity. So that huge sustainability of the cows' manure milking them. it's kind of a neat opportunity. So what you see up here is we have the back scratchers. No one's there right now, but you can see it's kind of worn down. That's because they use it a lot. I learned the hard way it's not meant for humans, but the cows love it. If you see behind the back scratcher, we have the robot, and the robot is where the cows can go in whenever they want. And if you pan to the left, there you go. The cow just walked in to get milked. Cow's body temperature is 102 degrees approximately, and we have to get that milk cold quickly. So what we do is we take the pipe and the water, warm water goes over it, or cold water goes over it. The milk will then get cold, and the water will get warm. Farmers are so good at reusing things. It's amazing. Water on a farm is usually reused approximately 4 times. So the water tanks that we have for the cows to drink out of is all the warm water that was used to chill down the milk. And I think that's amazing because warm water, after they get milked, helps them digest better, as well as helping them produce more milk. And that's a great opportunity for them. And if you can see the steam's coming off of it, it's nice and warm for them. So another thing that we do is we have a nutritionist that balances the diets of the animals. They always have the best diet for them. We use molasses. If you ever saw a big dome by the farms, with a kid on a tour one time said it was called Polka Dot Mountain, but that's the corn silage, and I'm sure that some of you knew that. But the corn silage will sit and it'll ferment for about 4 months or more, and create probiotics for those cows to digest better, and it allows for better digestion in the rumen and the different compartments of the cow. We have a friend, hi. But that's always important to know. The other thing that we like to do is we always want to continue to improve as farmers. We always want to make sure that they're having that balanced diet, making sure that they're comfortable. We work with Purdue University to do research on animal health. We have auto feeders that you're going to see across the street. The auto feeders, the calves can go in whenever they want to, similar to the robots. So that gives them the opportunity to take that data. We collect a lot of data. And that data is then, in turn, analyzed by these universities. Another university in Kentucky is going to take some data on the foot health in the animals. And they put cameras over in the robots that allowed for them to analyze each individual cow's foot. But I think that's so amazing that we can take all of this data and continue to improve and adjust and make sure that the cows are as comfortable as possible. The other thing that we use as technology is a Fitbit. On this facility, our Fitbit is a necklace. At the other facilities, it is actually on their legs, and it monitors the steps of the cows. If the cow is not taking enough steps, it's not feeling well. We have 7 veterinarians on staff that allow us to track the individual animal's steps and then monitor it on their own level. So some cows will take a lot of steps, some cows don't take a lot of steps, but if there's a deviation, the veterinarians will get a report and it'll be sent out, and the veterinarians will then go check on those cows. I'm sure, Brooke, we have a few questions that needed to be answered.
We do. One of the first questions that came in is someone asking if you've ever been kicked by a cow.
I have never been kicked by a cow, but I have been kicked by a calf. And they're just, in my world, they're just as strong. But good question.
And then also, how much milk does a cow give per day?
Okay, so that's different for every farm, but on our farm, we're approximately 90 pounds of milk per cow per day here. So we're doing about 380,000 pounds of milk a day.
That's a lot.
And 90 pounds of milk is approximately 10 gallons of milk, a little more. The other thing I forgot to tell you real quick, Ms. Brooke, I forgot, is during the milking, when they're getting milked by the robots, they get a snack. It's like a sweet treat to the cows. I ate it. It's not good for humans. But the cows love it. They actually come in. We have a few cows that will just come in for the snack. If they're not predicted to have about 18 pounds of milk in their udder, the udder's not full enough, and the robot can't read it. So if it's not predicted, then the cows will just circle around. And I've had some cows that just circle until they can get their snack and get milked. It's really cute. Okay, I'm sorry, Brooke.
No, you're fine. Two things. One, we're getting a request to say hello to Mrs. Hostetler and Mr. Wozniak's class at LaPorte Middle School.
Hello. Hello, Ms. Hostetler and Wozniak's class.
And then also, what is the easiest way to tell a difference between a dairy cow and a beef cow?
Oh, excellent question. So dairy cow's body type is quite different from the beef cows. I'm not the expert in beef, but I can say that we've had some calves that are born as beef cows, and they're stockier animals. Their weight goes to different parts of their body. So with the milking cows, their energy goes down to their udder. As they eat, all of those nutrients will go towards the udder to help them produce the milk. That's why dairy cows are a little thinner in the frame, simply because if you think of an athlete running, when they're running, all of their different muscles are developed differently. And the dairy cows are truly athletes. They work hard to help produce milk for the world. Good question.
And then one more, speaking of the Fitbits, how many steps a day do you think a cow gets?
Well, I would say that every cow is different, just like every human. So it really depends on the individual cow and the steps that they take. I truly am stumped on that question. And if they want to email me at jill@homesteaddairy.com, I will go to my computer and get the reports and get you an average of those steps. I would love. After this, I'm going to go look it up because the veterinarians spend more time with that than me. Good question, though. I haven't been asked that before. Pretty proud of you.
That's all for now.
Okay. So what we're doing. Okay, so what we have here is she's going to come over and show you the feed. Different parts of their life have different feeds. So the cow's feed that you're going to see right now are dry cows. Dry cows are cows on vacation. They are cows that are spending time growing their baby, not being milked at this time. And these are actually heifers. Heifers are going to be first-time moms. They haven't had a baby yet, and they're about to have the baby. By timing wise, we're going to slide over to maternity. This is maternity. This cow is about to have a baby. Of course, timing wise, we didn't get to catch the baby being born, but I have a YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube and go to homesteaddairy.com, if you want to see a baby being born, I have a video edited from another tour that I was doing that you're more than welcome to see. Another technology that we have is a Juno. A Juno it looks like a huge Roomba, except it doesn't suck anything up. It pushes the feed closer. So we have 2 Junos in this building. And I forgot to tell you, this building is about 8.5 acres under roof. And we have 36 Lele robots. And technically, we're considered the largest robotic dairy under one roof in the world. There's a family farm in Chile that has 60 robots, but they're in different facilities. Hi, almost hit that. But what we have here is we have the veterinarians on staff, but in maternity, we also have veterinarians who stay 24 hours a day monitoring the cows, making sure when they are going into labor, they are moved up to the front in the safe area where they can have their calves. So what we're going to see here is this is my little room that has some baby calves in it. Está bien? Can you see? So these calves were just born. So we have about 20 babies a day. They will stay here for approximately 6 to 10 hours, and then they will come over to me to the calf barn. They will get a gallon of colostrum at birth, a half a gallon 6 hours later, and then they will come to me. We will weigh them. We will genetic test them, and that's actually pretty interesting. Genetic testing is simply a skin piece that they will study the DNA. On the DNA of the cows, it'll tell us if they're good milkers. It has health traits, if it's going to be a healthy cow. It has if they'll calve easily. There's like 500 different things that they can read on that DNA. And what we do is we focus on five traits on that genetic sample, and that's how we go about breeding and saying if we would like those genetics to stay in the herd or not. And that's that cow will still stay with us, but we just breed her differently, and we're breeding to beef if their genetics aren't strong, just because we want the bloodlines to stay as healthy as possible. What's interesting here is that because I didn't grow up in a dairy farm, I just love to learn the why and to share it with anyone who wants to have a conversation. And the biggest thing is ask a farmer, because farmers know the why. They can explain to you what and why, and if you have questions, they're more than willing to answer. I'm going to have Dan play the video for you, and then we're going to head over to the calf barn, and you get to see my babies and how they are loved on.
We were very excited for the cows to come in, and so were they as they ran in and were galloping into the clean environment and comforting environment that they are going to know and love. Yeah. These back scratchers are amazing. The cows line up and actually wait in line for the massage that they get for the day. They can come up any time of the day and get a little brush by putting pressure upon it, and it spins and gives them that massage. It's quite enjoyable to just sit and watch the cows get rubbed by the brush. It's funny because some of them even like their rump rubbed. The cows will walk into the robot and are ID'd immediately by the necklace that they are wearing around their neck. The robot will then read the udder and clean the teat in each quarter. There are 4 quarters. The brush will then go back and be sprayed with the hydrogen peroxide water solution and do another pass to make sure that the teats are nice and clean to be milked. After the brush is done, a laser will come on and read the udder once again to make sure that it knows where each teat is. It will then attach each unit to each teat to make sure that each quarter is milked fully and properly. This was only the 3rd time that she has been milked before, and she was very comfortable about the robot coming in. Although she moved to adjust herself, she was not fighting the robot for any discomfort. This is a different cow being milked for the third time as well, and I wanted to show you a different angle and perspective of how the cows are being milked. It is mesmerizing to me, and I sat for many hours watching this happen on our 260 cows that are being milked currently. That seeing this robot do it over and over again was amazing, and to be so continuous, the cows get so comfortable with it because it is the same process over and over. During the milking, the cows are actually given a sweet treat that entices them to come get milked when they feel that pressure in their udder, and it also relaxes them with the comfort of eating while they're getting milked. The milk is pumped into these tubes, and then it is pumped into an individual tank that is stored within this system, and then once the cow is done milking, it will be brought to our semi-tank that is being held. The computer system tells us how many pounds she is given and how long each quadrant has milked. What's different about this system than traditional milking is that the quarter can be fully milked if all the other quarters are empty. And this system will keep the quarter milking until it is completely empty and release of the pressure and the milk from that quarter. Afterwards, we spray with iodine to make sure bacteria does not go into the udder, and then the robot comes back and will sanitize itself with a wash throughout the pipes and through the units, pumping through a cleaner that will make sure that it's clean for the next cow to come in. Another wonderful addition to this barn is an automated scraper. This actually scrapes more often than what we traditionally do because of the ability to be on a pulley system. This one will come down and scrape all the manure off, so it'll be cleaner for the animals. And then on the other lane, it will be pulling back while this one is going forward, and then it will switch. It's an amazing tool because it actually keeps it cleaner for the cows. Thanks for watching from Homestead Dairy. Have a great day.
Welcome back. We are at the Homestead Dairy Calf Barn. We started these barns in 2015. We built this one in 2016. I got one in 2017, and I didn't get a 2018 one, but my husband heard about it. So maybe next year. But anywho, so what we did was we were able to find the management system that allowed us to have group housing. Through research, it always said that if you kept the animals separate in hutches, then they would stay healthy. And if you think about a daycare and kindergarten, when kids go to daycare, when they go to kindergarten, that transition is pretty easy. But if they're stay at home and then go to kindergarten, sometimes they get sick when they're put together. And that goes the same for the calves. So but then more research came out, and it allowed us to understand that if you have the right colostrum protocol, which is that first time mom's milk, it keeps diseases away. Then you have cleaning protocols in place, and then you have different things like that in place. With feed, with everything like that, you're able, I'm being pulled. you are able to have calves in a group setting, and we were able to master that. So the calves come in day one, and they're allowed to drink 2 liters every 2 hours. So what we found is that some calves will come in every 2 hours and drink 2 liters. We've had calves hit 24 liters in a day. Not the normal, but we have had that before. So in the hutches, we were feeding the calves 3 times a day, 3 liters, so 9 liters total. What we're finding here is that calves are averaging about 13 liters a day when they're given the opportunity to drink whenever they want to. So what we're going to see here is that because they are able to drink more, they are growing faster simply by consuming more, and we're using less medicines because they're healthier animals as they grow. You can see the little bottom sticking out here. They can go in whenever they want to and drink 2 liters. It monitors that data, and it allows me to track who is eating what every day. I have an app on my phone that I check, as well as on my computers, that I can organize all of that data and know who might not be feeling well or who is eating way too much. But those are the ones that grow. They can eat as long as they have come in once in a while. The other thing that we do is we allow them to use that as a pacifier. So if the calves aren't allowed to have 2 liters, they just suck on it, and they'll be able to get it when they have the opportunity again. So, but the amazing thing about this, I say amazing a lot. I didn't realize I say it as much as I do. Anywho, the really cool thing about it is that they're super friendly now, and that's carrying over into the behavior of the cows as well. They love the fact that they have choice. So there's cows that there's calves that do really well on this system, and they go in, and I really don't hang out with them enough. But there's other calves that just don't understand the technology, and with us, we have the opportunity to differentiate. Woo! Sorry, I was in your way. Differentiate for the calves. And when they grow up, if they understood this technology, then they will probably go to the robots. And if they don't understand the technology and they're just those calves that we're always fetching, they're going to go to the main parlor where we are still using that traditional milking and bring the cows to the parlor. So with that, are there some questions?
Yes, we do have a couple questions. One is going back to both these like robots, the feeding robots, and also the robots in the other barn. How often do they need maintenance?
Oh, that is an excellent question. I have gotten very good at fixing robots. So for my position, I raise the calves, and I have worked very hard at mastering how to fix these machines, and I actually have gotten so good that I am creating training videos for the company that makes these for other farmers. But with that said, we have 8 auto feeders, so I am constantly touching the robots and making sure that they are maintained, have no bacteria in them, are cleaning properly. We hand wash. It's called circuit cleaning every day, and then the machine itself washes 3 times a day, and that goes for the robots as well. We have 36 robots, and we have my brother-in-law who's in charge of those. He has gotten very good at fixing them because there's 36. So farmers that have potentially 2 might take a little more time to understand the different fixings, but because we have 36, there's always something to fix. But excellent question. And I just didn't realize how much technology goes into farms, or at least for our farm specifically. We have so much different technology to make sure we maintain the health of these animals on an individual basis, and make sure that they are as healthy and happy as possible and loved on as much as possible. Good question.
And why are all of your cows black and white, and why don't you have any brown cows?
Awesome question. So we have all Holsteins, except for a few Angus that stay with me until about 300 pounds. And then they live somewhere else. But The red Holsteins is a, we don't have any simply because of the genetics that just didn't end up staying in our herd. If you think about blondes, brunettes, redheads, the red Holstein is a similar trait, has a genetic trait that allows for their hair to be red. But our Holsteins tend to be black and white. I've had a few red and white ones before. They're cute. We love on those because it's rare.
And on a, I guess, a more personal question for you, what is your favorite part of what you do, and what is the hardest part of what you do?
That is an excellent question. So my favorite part are the tours. I love teaching people about the dairy industry. I love the calves. I have my favorite cow, Indy. Love hanging out with her. Hardest part, is I want to say if something goes wrong. This is nature. There's always, that's why we have veterinarians, to keep them as healthy and happy as possible. And if a calf is or cow is sick, that's the hardest part. We all sit and spend time loving on that cow. We'll do special things like bringing a bottle to that calf. Because we want to give that extra attention. We have jackets and different things like that. But that, I would say, having a sick calf and cow are the hardest things. But that's a really good question.
Do you think your kids will take over some of the dairy farming family?
Excellent question. Not today. So my kids are 11 and 14. Well, 14 on Monday. But currently, it's a chore to come and go feed the calves with mom because mom needs help. They love coming and hanging out at the farm, not necessarily when I make them work. I think my daughter's going in very interested in engineering, and that's really carrying over into hi guys. Really carrying over into this farm and the technology that we're using. So I think she might find interest. I think my son is so into soccer right now that he's going to be a professional soccer player someday. I said you have to have a backup plan, but that's okay. But that's a good question. The other thing I just noticed is I didn't talk to you about ventilation. Ventilation is very important for the calves. So we have these ventilation tubes that are blowing every day of the year, even when it's this cold, but it's not creating a breeze, it's just creating fresh air. So we're able to change the air in these barns 4 times a day, which is really important because if calves are breathing any fumes from the ammonia, they can get pneumonia. Those are hard words to say. The other thing is curtains. Our curtains will open at different temperatures, different levels. I have my workers protocols in place so that they know when to open certain curtains at certain times. Another thing we have are the fans. The fans will always turn on at 70 degrees and allow for that breeze to happen when it is warmer. Perfect temperature for a cow is 50 degrees. This is a little chilly. That's why we have extra bedding right now so that the calves can curl up in it and make sure that they stay nice and warm. But anyway, side note, another question.
One more. What is the red marking on the calf that was just showing you some love there?
That was because the calves in this pen were vaccinated this week, and we just put a mark to make sure that I know that that calf got their vaccines to make sure they're healthy and happy, just like kids. They got to get their shots sometimes. But that's a great question. So I'm guessing we're going to wrap it up here. But if you have any more questions or you want to have a smaller tour where we can interact some more, or if you want to come to the farm, my email is jill@homesteaddairy.com. You can also get more information from our website, www.homesteaddairy.com. And we also have a Facebook page, Instagram page, YouTube channel. I'm in charge of all of that. So if you ever have any questions with that, let me know. And if you watch the Indy 500, remember to look in the winner's circle because I am handing the milk out to the winner. Whoever wins the Indy 500, I'll hand out that milk, and I'm super excited to be there, and I hope that you can watch it.
Thank you, Jill, and thank you to everyone who was able to join us today. We hope you learned a little more about dairy farming, and we appreciate you logging in and yeah, getting to know us a little better. If you want any more information about other dairy farms in the state of Indiana, you can always visit winnersdrinkmilk.com. And we're on all social media as well at IN Dairy. So thank you so much, and we'll see you all soon.